Hey guys, what's up? This is Ashish from elibrary.in and welcome to yet another Power BI tutorial. And in this tutorial, we'll see some issues which makes us sit for a long time. Okay, and that in turn would give us a pain. Okay, so I think I'll share one major issue which we face almost every time, or which happens mainly in the Excel sheet. So I've just taken this data, the population growth rate which we already had. So I want to edit this now. I'll go to my query, then I'll go to edit query, and then when this another window opens up, we'll start editing it. Okay, so before editing it, let's have a look at it and at how our data looks. So now that our data is loaded, let's just see it has positive values. And quick note, if you have noticed that in Excel, whenever there is a number, it'll be a line on the right, and whenever there is in text, it'll be on the left. So I think you can make out that this is in the form of text. Okay, when I click on it, you can see that it's in the form of text. So let's just see how are these numbers given, or how are these numbers written. So let me just scroll down a bit. So we have positive values, and it's decreasing to 0, and we have negative values. Perfect. So now let's go and let's convert it into decimal numbers, and let's see what happens. Positive numbers look real positive. They give a proper value, but when we scroll down, zeros should be fine. Zeros are fine, but look what happened over here. The negative values are showing an error. Okay, and why is that? There are many cases that maybe when they were typing this, maybe they gave a space, or there were special characters entered, because of which it is not recognized over here. So there you can see some errors, because of which we will have to figure this out, that why is this an error. So let's just see. So now suppose this was in text, and as I said, the first case, there might be chances that someone might have put a space. So let's just try to remove those space. But as we discussed in our previous tutorials how to transform it, so I'll just click on transform, and then I'll go to format, and I'll say trim. So what I did right now was I just checked if there were any spaces which were provided when this was written. It would be trimmed off, and probably those were the special characters entered. Now let's just try to convert it now. So I'll just hit decimal number, and let's just see. Positive numbers were good and are good still now. They give a positive result. Oh shit, you can see it still throws an error. Now what else can be the case? We saw that when it is in the text, it looks perfectly alright. It looks like a proper number. So let's see what happened. Now that our data is not changed, for now I'll just clean all these things up, change data type. I'll keep it trimmed again, so I'll just trim it again. I'll go to transform, format, and it'll trim. Okay. Oh, okay. So I just trimmed it, and now there are cases that sometimes there might be a case that it would have been taken from an old database, or there are chances that some non-printable characters are over here that we can't see, or most of the time you see those rectangle boxes which are present. So there can be many cases where it can come up. So for now I'll just select this, and I'll go to format, and I'll say clean. So what this would do is this would clean off everything if there is any non-printable character. So now let's just see. I don't see much change, but still, let's just try to transform and change the data type to a decimal number now, and let's see if it works or not, or it still gives some error. Oh, you can see there are still some errors. So I'll just remove this now, change data type. Now what else can be the problem? Okay, so let's think of few. One way to get off these errors would be, suppose if I just change it, sorry, my bad. So suppose if I want to change it to decimal numbers, and Uh, I want to show only the positive growth rate. I didn't change it. So, okay. Now, suppose I just need the positive growth rate and I want to ignore all the negative growth rate as there are already errors showing negative. So one good thing is I can click on remove errors, which would just give me the positive values and ignore all those negative things. Okay, so it would probably give me just 196 rows. So this that's one way if you want to show only positive, and it depends on your requirement. So for now it didn't solve our issue. So in case if we have more huge number of data, which 10,000 rows or something, and if uh, half of them are all negative, you can do this. Okay, so let's see what the issue might be. So I'll just remove the change type as well. So when I scroll down, you can see the negative values over here. It looks good, it looks proper, but when you come over here, you would notice that it shows an error even in -0. Okay, so you can probably guess it out that there's obviously a problem with the negative sign. Or maybe it's not at all a negative number. So how do we remove it now? There are chances that it might have been taken in Word. So when you see this negative, this sign itself as a value, because -0, at least it should have shown properly. So there's a problem with this one. So I guess it's not at all a negative number. I mean, it's not at all a negative sign. It's just an hyphen. So when it is in a text form, you cannot actually make out the Word. Maybe it was in Microsoft Word or some other text tool where it cannot differentiate between what is an hyphen and what's a minus. So let's go over here and let's try to replace it. Okay, in the meantime, this would be another way on how you can replace the values. You can just right click on any of these values, like I've right clicked over here, and I'll say replace values, and I'll say replace this one with the negative sign. So as you can see, there's a lot of difference. Okay, the width difference you can see between this and this. Minus is much smaller. Okay, so let's try to do it. Let's say okay. So it has done the changes for this column, and now let's try to change its data type, and hopefully it works now. And it does. So you can see the values have now been changed. So this would give a lot of pain when when the data comes in as text, and it cannot be recognized whether it's a negative sign or a hyphen. How they had written it and how it comes over here will be very different. So this is how you would do it. So this is the one big issue which which has been faced a lot of times. So I hope you can get it done now. So these issues can be majorly anywhere. It can be in the data, or when you want to do any logical changes, you can find these problems. Okay, so now I think it's no more a problem now. Just be careful when there's a negative sign. Make sure the width is proper and the data is proper. Just change the data type, try to do some transformations, and I'm sure you'll be able to get it. So I think that's it for this tutorial, guys. I hope it helped you a lot. So I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Till then, take care. Bye, and please don't forget to subscribe.